And we're back with some more Minibase. Baby base? Minibase? Baby base? I don't know, whichever one's better. At the time being, after my last attempt at cooling, I've decided, no more messing around. I've actually done some planning now in the background to figure out what our next steps are. And the first one is I'm running out of coal at a rapid rate, and that is our only source of power. Unless I want to start using those manual generators again. And no, I don't want to use those manual generators. The only way we're going to get coal is hatches, and we're going to end up using normal hatches this time around. But first, we need to get ourselves together a nice little hatchery. I'm thinking we're going to put one right here, and we're going to use all this empty space from this farm to sort of feed into the hatchery to give it more space. We're going to try and cram it in here. If we cram in a sort of a... how do I describe this? A very, very tight ranch. We can sort of use this entire area here. How big is it? I think it's going to be a little big. 101 tiles. Well, okay, once we've filled in a few things, we'll see how it works out, but we should be able to squeeze in just the perfect sized ranch in here. Ooh, almost forgot the critter drop off. Okay, well, I did forget the critter drop off, but I remembered it in the end, so that's all that counts. This is how many tiles? Give me a quick room reading here. 99. Okay, I need to shrink this down a bit. Let me think for a minute. And there we go. A beautiful, perfectly sized 96 tiles of ranch. I am, wasting those 3 tiles. I'll have to figure out something to do with those 3 tiles. Maybe we can shave off a little bit here, but I'm not really sure what we can do with it. We'll find out later. At least we know we have those 3 tiles to spare. I am only going to feed the hatches sandstone. That's it. I've been going through the rock types, and normally I would go for, igneous rock and granite and stuff like that, but we don't have any of that. Regular hatches consume sandstone and sedimentary rock right out of the gate, so... yeah, we're just going to grab a whole bunch of hatches and we're going to put them in there, and we can fit 8 in here. The reproduction and the drowning and all that, we'll worry about that in a bit. Firstly, I just want to get our coal production up and running so we can slow down that bleed of energy out of the system. Would you look at that? A ranch with 7 critters. 8 will be along shortly. All the eggs are going to get dumped up there into the bedroom for now. We'll have to do something a little bit more permanent at a later date, but for the time being, that's going to get coal production started. Coal is now up to 34 tons. Yes, already at... okay, where I don't know where those other 4 tons of coal came from. Anyway, yes, next part. Oh, the next part is we want to put together metal refinement. Now, there was a few suggestions in the comments, and one of my favorite was melt some plastic and turn it into naphtha. The reason for that is we want to get this and hook it up to a steam turbine. However, we need to put coolant through this, and we can't use water or polluted water because they will boil in the pipes, and we can't use the steam turbine to cool them because by the time the steam turbine is... the liquid is hot enough to activate the steam turbine, it's boiled in the pipes and broken everything. So normally you would use crude oil or petroleum. In this instance, we can use naphtha, but to make naphtha, we're going to melt plastic, and we're going to melt the plastic we get from the Drecos. I'll need about 800 kilos of plastic, so that's a problem, but how are we supposed to melt it? To melt plastic here, if we grab a little chunk of it, it needs to go up to 159.9, so a little bit over 160 degrees. This is going to be hot. This is going to be really hot. Also, before we melt it, I want to pick out where we're going to put the refinery so we can immediately pump that hot liquid into it. Thinking we're going to put a little refinery / cooling section right about here. I'm probably going to overdo it by using 2 steam turbines, but hey, even on a mini base, you still want to overdo things just a little bit. Ooh, Prezi time. Let's see what we've got in the blueprint section. Iron, yes, I would love that. Cooking, no thank you. Yeah, we'll just go with the iron. Oh, also it's been pointed out to me, it tells you exactly how much of each material you have available at the bottom, so I can see how much oxalite I have available, all of those things. So I actually have 210 kilos of iron already, but an extra 400 will go a long way. Also, as well as that, I started the research of steam turbines. I'd forgotten to do that already, so we're going to need the steam turbines to get this little heat deletion device set up. Also, this is where we'll be putting in our aquatuner. If you'll notice, we have exactly enough steel to make an aquatuner. Well, we didn't when I realized I had used 200 kilos of it to make a conveyor loader over there, but once we just deconstructed that, we now have all of the things necessary to make an aquatuner right there. Nice. Power-wise, do we have it yet? No, but once we get steam turbines, we should be able to place them on top. And now, what was it? Yes, down here. I want to delete this and delete this. Oh yes, I accidentally built that out of gold amalgam. Never mind, rebuilt it as steel. Jeez, even when I was trying to specifically just build the right thing. Refinement-wise, we're going to put our refinery right here. The reason it's by the gateway is, well, this was the 3-story floor, and this just worked out nicely. The steam turbines go in there, 2-story gap for the steam area, and the metal refinery goes in the bottom because it fits in this 3-story area. That's really it. There's no real smarty pants reasoning for this. What else are we going to do on this bottom end? Oh, yes, we're also going to need to put in the piping. I'm going to have to be very careful about that. For the insulated piping, I am going to be using sedimentary rock. It's better than the sandstone, and the granite is pretty rare. That's the rarest mineral I've got, and sedimentary can kind of handle what we're doing here. So what we'll do is we'll just run these up here, and then get some radiant piping, which we're going to use iron, because we've got a plentiful supply of that. And wait, let me count something out here. Right, that should be just about it. You know what? Let's connect those up now before this all gets enough. Ah, I'm out of building materials. Not fair. Not fair. Actually, wait, nope. That doesn't matter. We've got precisely enough. Done. There we go. That's just all iron radiant liquid pipe all the way around. Did that work out? Yep, perfectly. Actually, there. So that's where we'll radiate our heat into. Then we'll have to fill this area up with an awful lot of liquids. We're not going to be using the oil trick. Namely because we just don't have a lot of oil. How much oil do we have? There's a slickster down here that's... How is that slickster still there? I thought I wrangled that sucker up. Okay, we'll wrangle this slickster up and then we'll dump them down here. And then once they're down there, they should hopefully start... Oh, wait. Are those doors closed? Yes, they are. Never mind. Let me get back to this. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough iron to complete that, so we're going to smash up some iron. I know it's inefficient and we'll lose 50% of the mass, which is bad on an island this small, which is really small. But we kind of need this to get this finished. Okay, once that's done, do we have enough plastic yet? We have 900 kilos. Excellent. We have enough plastic to make the naphtha we're going to need. So we'll finish this off. Oh, and I better put in some piping for this. Plumbing installed, automation installed. Yeah, I had to smash up some more iron. We've still got plenty of iron ore as far as I'm aware. Yeah, we got 52 tons of iron ore and plenty of gold. We should be fine on the raw minerals front, raw metals front. It's just I want to make sure we save as much of it as possible. It's going to be very difficult to acquire more of, well, anything. So while that is finishing up, we have enough plastic. Oh, we've got 1,200 kilos of plastic. We must have got a couple of extra shearings in. This thing is... Trecos are very, very efficient to it. Like, they work in the background. You don't have to care about them. Oh, and I had to put in a wheezewort here. It was getting a bit warm, so I decided to stick one in and make sure that this place doesn't get too hot. Well, I'll probably have to uproot it when it starts freezing these, but, you know, swings and roundabouts, swings and roundabouts. Down here is where we are going to melt our naphtha. In fact, I have run a pipe up already. Is it good to go? Nope, the toilets still have not emptied out, but assuming this works out, we should be able to just... that in there and bridge it across. We are going to be pumping our naphtha from down here where we're going to make it. How do I explain this without seeming crazy? You know what? Let's just make it and see. Oh, first thing I'll have to do though is give someone a skill scrub. I need someone with the ability to dig Abyssalite, and I scrubbed Mando, didn't I? Yeah, they do not have super hard digging. My bad. Actually, never mind. I've upgraded Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda can do it. They've got enough skill points, and I can always scrub them later if needs be. I just want to get this started. Now, we are going to need some insulation down here. Sedimentary rock. All the way to about, I want to say there. Just checking the temperature overlay. These rocks here are all scalding hot. 875, 1700, 1700, 1700. All of them have to go. The ones on top, not so bad. But all of these ones down here, they all have to go, because if we turn a liquid, like naphtha or something like that, actually... You know, let's demonstrate this bug. This is my test map. I use this map when I'm testing, you know, silly-sized builds. The reason being the whole thing's I filled it all in with Abyssalite. That way, everything runs faster. So if you're doing something stupidly large, like, say, a regolith melter, you can get far more cycles out of it per second doing it this way. What we're going to do is we're going to get some petroleum. We've got 10 kilos, 26.9 degrees, and we're going to drop it on some of this Abyssalite. Some of it's stupid hot. It's like 2700, 1900. So let's just start dumping this down on top. Actually, open some of this up to space, maybe. We can let some of the gases out. Not really necessary, but let's just start dumping stuff in here. And you'll notice, yep, despite the absolutely zero conductivity of the Abyssalite, it's still managing to cause a bunch of it to flash instantly. Now, not all of it. It will leave some of it behind, and it's interacting fine with that. There's about, what, 2 kilos, 2.5 kilos on each tile? But once we go above that, it just starts going again. In fact, let's crank this up to, say, 500 kilos. Paint it in again. Now, it does actually cool it down. You can see it's slowly draining the heat out of the Abyssalite. So the Abyssalite's just flashing it instantly to sour gas, and that's not cold sour gas. It instantly causes the petroleum to turn into sour gas. It just insta-boils it. So the petroleum goes from whatever temperature it's at to instantly 540 C, which generates an awful amount of heat. And the Abyssalite only cools very, very slowly, meaning you can generate an absolutely gargantuan amount of heat this way. Think about the amount of petroleum we're turning into sour gas right here. That's That's just insane. And its thermal conduct, was it? Its specific heat capacity is 4. It's about the same specific heat capacity as water. This is just mental. Now, you may be thinking, there's other things you could use this for. Maybe use this to, power a steam turbine infinitely. Unfortunately, no. You can't inject heat into it, unfortunately. I really wish you could, but just say we get a utility here. We'll grab a diamond temperature shift plate. Throw that there. Ooh, just 1 second before it finishes. There's a weird thing here where the petroleum is just sort of flowing off the top here, flowing down here and instantly turning into sour gas, which has stopped this from sort of collapsing. Okay, it's now hit. Yeah, it's now hit the point where it can't actually flash it anymore. There's not enough temperature differential. So let's show some magma in here and see what happens. Here is some 1700C magma. It's dumping its stuff onto the temperature shift plate, and the temperature shift plate is unable to shift that energy anywhere. They patched it so you can't dump temperature into Abyssalite anymore, specifically to stop people, I'd say, exploiting this to create vast quantities of energy. It would be very nice, though, wouldn't it, if you could do that? You could just, dump a heat source into this and use it to either boil water or make petroleum. Oh, and it's not just petroleum it affects. Same exact Abyssalite with its temperature drained so it's no longer boiling petroleum, and we're going to drop in some water. And, oh look, insta-boils. Instantly turning it into 100-degree steam. That's the joy of Abyssalite. And this works with any liquid, literally any liquid. So naphtha, oil, petroleum, polluted water, all the liquids. If you have a liquid metal that's cooler than the temperature of the Abyssalite, it will instantly gasify it. It's crazy. It really is. But anyway, let's get back to the game, shall we? This stuff will also transfer quite a fair bit of temperature with the gas that's surrounding it. So what I want to do is get this really hot stuff here and sort of build diagonally in here with some insulated tiles. Then we'll scrape off the top and work our way in from there. We'll have to go all the way across. As well as that, when we do make the naphtha down here, I don't want it touching this stuff because it will instantly flash to gas. And naphtha has about the same boiling point as petroleum, and that would be bad. We don't want to be dumping 500-degree gas into our base, especially considering its tiny size and inability to absorb large quantities of heat. Also, we don't have our steam turbines up yet. But soon, actually, I can start putting in the water here as well. I also nearly forgot to put in the exit vent. That would be, or the exit water pipe for the steam turbines. That would have been embarrassing. But no, we got it in the end. It'll be fine. Now we just got to fill this whole place up. And why is that moving? Oh, carbon dioxide. Why you got to do this to me, carbon dioxide? That's just so annoying. I'll have to build some bricks in there to remove those. But once we've got enough polluted water in there, say about 100 kilos at the base, we'll fill up the top as well. I want to have this very dense water to make sure it never overheats when we were pumping our refinery through it. Because our refinery is going to have to refine all our metals. Okay, this is going ahead at pace. Down here, we're slowly but surely digging through. I kept finding the commands kept getting lost, so I have to start doing this much slower and manually. Another thing we want to do is get the Abyssalite out of here. It's heating up the local area. The carbon dioxide is going up to 40°C. What's the temperature? Yeah, it's getting toasty because of the Abyssalite we're popping out of here, so we're going to dump it into the water here. When it's in debris form, it won't cause this to flash to gas. Actually, I should probably cover one or two other minor things. The Abyssalite, when it's in debris form, doesn't seem to exchange heat. Though I could be wrong, though I've never seen it turn anything into gas. Also, as well as that the temperature of the Abyssalite has to be hotter than the boiling point of the material. So, for example, if it's about 600 degrees, it can boil petroleum. But if it's 500 degrees, it's not. Same with water. So long as its temperature is above about 105 degrees or 110, it can boil water instantly. But once it goes below that, it can't. So that's why we're getting rid of this 1700C stuff, and the stuff on top that's only 26 degrees we don't really mind. That stuff's pretty safe. Anyway, we're going to finish this across here and sweep up all the Abyssalite behind us so we don't have to deal with any of this mess, hopefully. And you get rid of that. Boom. Alright, Baby Yoda can get back to researching. We've managed to successfully scoop that area out. Now it's time to boil some petroleum, or boil some naphtha. Let me get the basics of this set up, but we're going to want to pump it out immediately. I don't want to leave it lying around the place. It is going to be rather hot. So we're putting a liquid pump right about there. And we'll, of course, have to hook this into our grid. I got a power outage at one point because I hadn't set the priorities on these high enough. But there hasn't been any repeats, so hopefully we won't run out of power anytime soon. Let me run some power down here. And then once that's done, we can activate this. Oh, let's sweep up that junk. Don't leave that lying around the place. Ooh, care package-wise, we've got ourselves some lime. Yeah, I can't really say no to that. More steel, the better. Still waiting on them to finish sweeping this place up. Let's just say my sweep priorities are not very high in this map. Well, we're just about ready to kick off. All we're missing is naphtha. So, how are we going to melt the plastic? I think several of you might have figured it out already, but yeah, we're just going to grab plastic from here, and we're going to place a temperature shift plate made out of plastic. Once the 800 kilos is delivered and it's built, it will share heat with all of the surrounding tiles, including itself. So it's 9 tiles around it, including this one tile here, which is 1714 degrees. At which point it will keep sucking heat out of it until insufficient plastic resource. Oh, someone's on the way with the plastic. Once it's sucked enough heat out of it to melt, it will then turn into, well, liquid. And once it's liquid, it will no longer be a temperature shift plate, which means it will stop drawing temperature out of this, and we should just be left with a blob of 800 kilos of naphtha just sitting right there. Then what I'll do is I'll build a brick in that tile, and that will force the liquid up. And once the liquid is up, it will get sucked into the liquid pump. That is the theory. Is it a good theory? I think it's pretty decent. Probably not one of my best, but it should work. Seriously? Come on. The tension is killing me. Instantly flashed. That was just... I'm not even... Yeah, that wasn't minimum speed. Well, that converted quite quickly. It's 158.9. It didn't flash to sour gas. Did we lose anything to gas? I don't want to have lost anything to gas. Nope. It's all still carbon dioxide down here. We have naphtha. Now, yeah, the first thing we want to do, though, is we want to immediately build a brick. Damn, I had that selected, and I completely think that the brick will force all the liquid out of there. That liquid will get picked up by the... And then once it's up there, the liquid pump can grab it. How is it actually doing that? For a second there, I thought it was going to keep going until it was gone. That would have been a nice trick. That is all going to get pumped right over here. Oh, I never finished this. That would be an idea. Got the snip tool. We'll get you there. Boom. There. So once we're finished, we should have 800 kilos of naphtha that... Oh, damn it. Every time. Okay, we've just reversed it. We'll put in lots of polluted water and a little bit of clean. It'll be perfect. It'll be perfect. How are you doing over there? Overheat damage. I bet you're getting overheat damage. That stuff is pretty toasty. It's 155. Temperatures down here looking pretty toasty too, but we should hopefully be able to pump this all out fast enough. Come on. Come on, just get it all. Every single last drop. I need it in there. And this is slowly filling up. Once we have 400 kilos, that's all we need, but 800 will give us 2 rows. And is that done? Okay, I believe it has done the lot. You know what? Deconstruct. Don't need it anymore. It has served its purpose, and it's just going to sit there and keep overheating. Come on, how much of you is left? 600. Just give us exactly 800. That's all I want. That would be just beautiful if you could. Oh, that is beautiful. Sometimes the Oni gods just smile down on you. Sometimes you lose a gram or two to conversion processes somewhere, but no, we got exactly 800 kilos. That means we should be able to run 2 batches through this at a time. Beautiful. I am kind of shocked at how well that worked. All right, let's... I wonder if we use this for anything else. We could technically turn coal into refined carbon, but it'll be a waste. You'd have to dig it out. You know what? Let's leave that there. Maybe there's some... If anyone has any other ideas for what we can do with that heat, we could maybe... Well, okay, we're going to definitely hook up a steam turbine to the whole oil biome later on, but if there's anything we should do in the meantime, just let me know in the comments. For the time being, though, I need to put in a layer of clean water on top of this. Layer of clean water put across the top. As you can see, that entire thing is no gases in there anymore. Now, some people worry that when this water flashes to gas, you might end up with the polluted water off-gassing polluted oxygen in here. Highly unlikely. The reason being, there's going to be 40 kilos of water pressure or steam pressure across the top, so it shouldn't happen. Well, I haven't seen it happen. I suppose we'll have to find out, won't we? To build the actual steam turbines themselves, we're going to need some refined metal. I think we're going to run a few batches through this metal refinery, probably of something low temperature, just for now, and we'll probably get about 800 kilos of gold that way. But I am going to need more power. So we're going to put in a sort of a heavy watt power spine here. It will completely destroy the decor in the region, but, well, what can you do? It's just the game we live in right now. Okay, once that's put in... Oh, what is that doing there? Deconstruct that. I don't need that old wire there. I will run a big power wire up and actually probably support everything in this row off the main power spine. Oh, and we're also going to need some automation wires on that, aren't we? Yeah, I don't want those accidentally turning on. We are slowly but surely replacing the entire power spine, but we do have some new prezzies. Ooh, slickster larvae. No, that used to be too complicated. We'll just take the brine. Water will never hurt. I don't want the slickster larvae on the grounds that you can't move them around without plastic traps, and I don't really want to be wasting plastic. Unless I do have a lot of plastic. No, no. We'll leave it for now. We'll leave it for now. I'm going to worry about that later. For now, I want to get these steam turbines up and running. Once this is up and running, we'll have all the cooling and metal refinement we could possibly want. Assuming, of course, we can have the coal to provide it. So let's throw together 800 of these, shall we? 800 kilos of gold. On the bright side here, this should not even boil this, so we don't... excuse me, this should not even boil this, so we don't even have to worry about disposing of the steam just yet. Who's going to be working that? Mando. Oh, yeah, they do have the traits for it. Perfect. Now let's see how this works out. Okay, liquid's coming out at 105. Okay, that's nothing. It'll go through here, dump off its heat. I just want to make sure that it is... Yeah. This stuff is going to work out perfectly. Naphtha is actually really good, I just discovered, as a coolant for this. It's slightly better than petroleum. Not a lot better. I mean, it's usually not worth the effort of making naphtha to put in this. But it is actually just a little bit better than petroleum, so this is actually of benefit. Yeah, we'll deconstruct that, and let's skip this forward while we get enough resources to put together a steam turbine, and then we can get into some actual real cooling and real metal refinement. Finally, all done. Stick one there. Once that's in place, we can delete as much heat as we need. Though, you know what? I'm probably going to have to plug that into the main power spine as well, just so we can do something with that power. Yeah, I'm going to make this all out of iron. This is... we'll have to replace it later with something better, but for the time being, this is all we've got. And you know what? We'll just ride right over that. No need to delete it and reinstall it. There we go. With that in place... Oh, I still need to put in a power supply for this, for the aqua tuner. That needs some power. I've built in just a little bit of a power cable earlier of conductive wire. So I figured we put in a transformer down here and hook it up to that. I really feel like I'm just scraping by and just waiting on little bits of metal to come in so I can finish up the wiring system, just so I can get the cooling going. This map is definitely different. Very, very, very different. We just need 1, 2, 3 more pieces. 3 more pieces. We're almost there. Our blueprint gives us some curative tablets. Food, no. I'm going to keep an eye out for more dupes, though. The reason being, it's hard to find good ones, and you only get 1 dupe offered per turn. The copper will take. The more metal we can get, the better. Oh, yeah, that was the wrong button. And is that... Yes, finally. Okay, now that that's in place, we can start putting together the cooling system. And you know what? Let's throw together lots of gold. Lots of gold, it's fine. Gold is the least heat generating, so it shouldn't flash this to steam just yet. But on the downside, it's also the most power intensive because you don't get to recycle any of the heat out of it. Swings and roundabouts. I think for this cooling solution we're putting in place, I'm going to want a liquid storage tank, so I should be able to squeeze it on here just at the edge. Unfortunately, it's going to intersect with our polluted water line for our toilets, so I think that's going to have to move 1 tile over. Yeah, this should just be a quick rejig job. How has a base this small got this convoluted with piping so quickly? Boggles the mind. Alright, with all of that done, we should just have enough of resources now to put down another steam turbine. Perfect. We'll throw you down right in tight. Plumbing-wise, the waste exhaust should go in here, get hopped across, and dumped down in here to get re-steamed up. Then we're going to put in a storage tank right about there. This is going to be where we're going to dump a bunch of liquid in here and keep it as cooling, and then we'll use that to spread around our base to provide cooling everywhere. But for the time being, we just want a tank of cold, basically. So how are we going to hook this up? Easy peasy, easy peasy. Now, those pipes right now are just made out of granite, but we'll probably replace them with some conductive radiant pipe in a bit. Just for the time being, yeah, that gold really does not generate an awful lot of heat. Once we start throwing iron at it, yeah, it's going to heat that water up a lot faster. How are we looking here on this front? Yeah, perfect. And that is excellent. I think all we have to do is throw some water into the system and we're good to go. We will set the temperature at, say, if the temperature is above 20 degrees, activate. Now we just got to fill it with a whole bunch of polluted water. Oh, would you look at that? We have lots of it lying around the place. I think the easiest way to do this is we'll just take the overflow from the water sieve, dump it straight in here, and hop it across on a bridge system. That should start filling up the tank. Oh, actually, wait, we don't want to bridge that on, do we? No, we don't. We want to actually overfill it just a bit. The reason being... we want to overfill the system so that this tank backs up. Am I going to be able to do it that way? No, I'm not going to be able to do it that way. I'm going to have to move it around a separate section. Or we could just remove the exit pipe. You know what? I think removing the exit pipe might be the simplest selection here. And then once we've got the system filled with as much water as we want, then we can turn it on. So the system is finally starting to fill. I'm going to fill this up to about, say, 3 tons. 3 tons should be plenty of water. We can use that to rotate around our crops in other areas to make sure that we can expand our cooling loop as we need without having to dump water into the system every time we add on a few tiles. And at the same time, it'll just mean we've got a nice big storage tank here full of, say, 20C polluted water that we can just, use whenever we want. Ooh, some more prezzies. I kind of do like that Volpop. They are going to be our end game food source. I do like the gold amalgam as well. No. We'll take the Volpop and, we've been real effective wrangling them. I'll send them over here where they still keep running around for free. I haven't figured out a way to store them just yet. All right, everything is ready to go on the cooling front. We have power in place. Check. We have automation in place. Check. We have plumbing. Looks fine to me. And there we go. That should get the polluted water flowing. Then once it hits the aqua tuner, it should turn on. The only downside is this is going to be power intensive. That's 1200 watts. So that's going to eat into our coal. Also, once we start running the metal refinery on top of that, things are going to get really interesting. But I think we'll let this run for a bit and let it start cooling everything down. How is our water looking coming out of there? 15C, perfect. And here, this will slowly but surely start to drop in temperature. 28.1, 28.28, 27.9, and it will just keep going down and down. We might even reduce the temperature more if needs be. So I think that covers all our cooling needs, which means we should probably start putting in some electrolizers around the place. We can get off algae, finally. Though I think we've been running on a lot of polluted oxygen, judging by the absolute mess that's going all over the map. I'm going to have to do something about this as well. The top layer is already broken on the Abyssalite, and it's eating into the second layer. And over here, top layer is gone as well. I have researched bunker tiles just in case some emergency patchwork is required, but for the time being, I think we're okay on that front. To make sure we don't get any more brownouts on the coal front, I've just stuck in a couple of extra coal generators just to be on the safe side with some automation, and I even threw in some auto sweepers because now we can refine metal at any speed we want. You know what, let's queue up some iron anyway. We'll get some of that going on. And you know what, let's queue up some gold as well. We'll just let those run. That should be all metal refinement done. Cooling wise, oh yes, now that I've got that done, I'm going to want to put in a few other things, namely oxygen production. Well, water never hurts. Let's just take the water there. So, oxygen production. I'm thinking, let's just use the open plan electrolizers and let the hydrogen float up to the top of the map. We don't really have to care about heat because we can use this to delete heat anywhere it becomes a problem, and we'll just run a cooling loop through our crops. In fact, let's just run a quick cooling loop through the crops now. Or do we need it? I'm not actually sure we need to do that just yet. The cooling loop's ready to go in case we needed it at the moment's notice. It's definitely got, we got a giant tank of chilled polluted water there. So that should be fine on that front. I think we're just going to go straight for oxygen production, and then if this starts to overheat, we'll worry about it. In the meantime, we might actually just switch over to shovels and use them as our food source. Well, it's the theory. Let's see how it works out. The plan is very simple. I'm going to place an electrolyzer right out in the open right there, and another electrolyzer right out in the open right there. The gas should make its way to this side, though we don't have anything here yet. I don't really want to put any near the mealwood, though I should double check something here. Yeah, it can only survive in oxygen, polluted oxygen, and carbon dioxide. I'd prefer not to have hydrogen floating by here. I mean, it should probably just float up the middle, but never depend on Ani not to just get a blob in there and start annoying you. At the same time, the hydrogen that does collect over here, we're going to have to find some way to dispose of it. So I was thinking, we'll just put in a gas pump up here and do a little bit of powerless filtration and then dump it out into a hydrogen generator down here. It should be fairly simple. So in a gas reservoir. And we'll make sure that this is going to be the primary power source. As in, if we ever need power, it will immediately pull from the hydrogen generator first. We'll just set the smart battery a little bit lower than this one over here. Namely because we can afford to do this because we're just plowing in the metal right now. Which reminds me, I should put someone to run that full time. You know what, Mando? You're about to become a full-time engineer. We'll let Mando do all the operating, namely because they've got the mechatronics engineer skill, which gives them the highest base skill in it anyway. We'll let them run away at that, and in the meantime, we're going to get our oxygen production up and running. While we're waiting on a little research to do, I think we could quickly replace the power grid. At this point, we have got a fair chunk of gold. I think upgrading to 2 kilowatt wire would be a good investment. Not quite finished yet. The gold income is not quite as fast as we would like. Refinement does take a while. At the same time, we've almost finished getting this gas extraction at the top. We're going to siphon off all of the hydrogen that collects up here. It should all eventually float up to somewhere up here, though I might want to do something about those bathrooms. I can maybe replace some of the tiles. We'll sort something out. I might also have to put a gas pump in here to extract some of the hydrogen that collects in the bedrooms. This whole place is a mess. I can't wait until I get my hands on enough filtration medium to not have to worry about this anymore. Anyway, down here, what are we going to do? Ah, yes. Hook those up. What we're waiting here is until we get a packet of, not oxygen, we want hydrogen to be flowing into the system. This is way too messy. How much is in there? 60 grams. So let's just make this 10 grams a second, maybe. If we can make that 10 grams a second, we can hopefully figure out... Well, we're trying to do a powerless filter here. Ah, yes. This is what we're looking for. And thankfully, we have the disconnect utility to help us out. Here we go. So why don't you go in there, and you'll go across here. And this system is set up to only let 1 gram across. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And let's just disconnect you. All right. Let's turn this on to max, and we'll try and explain what's going on here. This is one of those simple powerless gas filters. I don't normally use them because, well, they're finicky, a little bit finicky to set up, and they can supposedly have difficulties over long periods of running, but they're power free. Normally I just throw power at problems, but already our coal reserves are going down. And before I finish explaining that, let's just have a quick look at the blueprints, shall we? Oh, come on. You want to present sand and steel? No, I'm taking the steel. I gotta take the steel. It's only 100 kilos, but still, it's steel. Steel. All that happens here is this. When this little gas filter here is set to 1 gram a second. So this is constantly just recycling 1 packet of hydrogen per second all the time. And when this comes down here and dumps gas into it, if oxygen comes across here, it can't get shoved onto the side because there's already hydrogen here. There's no space for it. So tough, the oxygen has to keep continuing and it just gets spit out the other side. However, any hydrogen that comes down here, it can get sucked across. So the hydrogen, well, 999 grams of it can potentially get sucked across. Since we're using small gas pumps, that's not really going to be an issue if we get anything more than that. So it gets dumped across here, and then the excess gets spit out the other side. So let's follow one packet. So this packet here, there is 100 grams of hydrogen in that. Actually, wait, no, 90 would be easier to follow. So there's 90 grams of hydrogen in here. So what's going to happen is it's going to get sucked across here, try and enter this valve. Unfortunately, the 90 grams plus the 1 gram in this pipe that it's going to run into can't go all the way across because this is set to 1 gram. So the excess 90 grams will just simply escape out this way and get dumped off across. So if we watch here, that goes in there, and then right out here, out comes 90 grams of hydrogen. So it's just a way of powerlessly filtering everything. And I have set this battery to 80-60, and the coal is on 60-40. So that means hydrogen will get burnt off preferably. So all of the hydrogen that ends up at the top of the map will just get filtered out by these 2 mini gas pumps. And the 2 mini gas pumps are just going to keep... I'm not even going to put automation on them. They can just keep pumping away. They use... how much power again? 60 watts. So it's 120 watts of continuous draw, but I don't really care too much. And that should be oxygen production done. It will end up a little bit low in gas pressure over here, but the duplicates should still have no problems breathing. And that should sort out oxygen. If we want, we can stick up another electrolyzer over here, especially when we switch crops. But that should take care of cooling, metal refinement, and, well, oxygen. The only thing we're missing right now, though, is going to be sustainable power production. As it is, our coal is going down, even though we've got a bunch of hatches farms up. That's probably to do with the enormous amount of gold we're refining. Gold is not very good at returning power into the system. Actually, you know what? Let's just make that 1 gold now. Remind me to put in another 51 gold in there, and let's switch to iron instead. Once we switch to iron, this should immediately start boiling, and we'll start seeing a return on our power investment. There we go. That's much faster. Right, so the Naphtha is pushing through there now. What's it coming back out at? Still coming out at 117 degrees. So the Naphtha goes in at 175 for steel. Comes out the other end at 120. Yeah, this should be perfectly fine. This should start to actually melt all, or boil all the water in there, and a lot faster. Iron gives off way more heat than gold ever does. And if we check the gas overlays as well, yeah, it's just steam. We're not ending up with anything but liquids or steams, or liquid or steam in there. That's it. No, the polluted oxygen can't off-gas because there's just too much pressure above it. Oh, wow, we actually got the steam turbine to activate. Okay, and I think that is a good point to end on. I think we've got an awful lot of stuff done. I still have to dispose of these this wastewater. That can be sorted out, though, pretty quickly. We could either dump that into a liquid tank or we can run it through some cooling. There's no problems there. Oxygen-wise, also sorted. We're now living off our polluted water supply, which Yep, that's easy to live off. And at the same time, we just need to get power sorted. For power, I'm thinking a sour gas boiler, but that's a long way down the line. We do have that oil well down here, that oil reservoir. So once we hook into that, we can boil, say, 1 kilo per second and get more than enough power out of it. In the interim, though, we might want to sort out an alternative power source, but that's for the next episode. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed and good luck.